Room, the only way to start your day.
Wananchi.
Lakini uko salama?
Ashkuru.
Very, very good. It's Thursday. Imagine. And we will have a Justice Thursday conversation. Lakini Lydia, hi Lydia. Lydia tuna internet. You don't know me, I can just say my problems and then Lydia will solve them.
Yes. Eliud atafanya kitu.
Okay, but everybody's here kicking it this morning, and today's the day when Dennis is attending that funeral, or Carrie, that is. And so, of course, wishing him all the best. And as we get into things today, we'll have a number of conversations. Very, very good morning to everybody. The weather seems to have taken a different twist, and it looks like the skies are a bit cloudy, and perhaps this is the signs of rain that will come. So let's wait and see, but we'll take it all in good stride. Karibu sana and welcome. Our live streams are up. The internet is doing a bit of a thing, so we'll be able to connect with you in just a minute. Our audience on KTN, good morning to you. And those who are tuned in terrestrial radio around Kenya, and of course going into the region and indeed the world. People listening in from different countries. Thank you so much for doing so every morning as you do. Karibu sana and welcome to the Situation Room. Dennis Aseto and Nduoko with you today. We'll have a number of conversations. Let's talk about it. Of course, the world, and the world being Kenya and Kenya being the world at that particular moment, has just been thrown into this tribal deluge in the last 24 hours. And it's scary to imagine that where you thought we had stepped out, it seems that we're still swimming those waters.
Yeah, it's actually a storm in the middle of it.
My goodness. Never step here, never do this. Don't even, I mean, speaking ill of the dead, doesn't matter who they were. Those form the basis of some of the conversations that we will be having today. Kirinyaga County has a women rep. Her name is Jerry Maina. She's also an advocate of the High Court. We'll be having a conversation with her. We're going to combine a number of things. Of course, we'll take some of those political intrigues into conversation. But she joins us at 7 o'clock. We'll be discussing the Computer Misuse and Cyber Crime Amendment Bill 2024. P.S. Raymond Omolo also came out yesterday to say a number of things. And he said, you know what? This has been misconstrued. There are things that are coming out in the public which are not the case. I will read his statement later. But he was like, guys, put it to rest. Some of these things that you're saying are actually not true. Well, that was interesting that he did that, because by the end of the day, the High Court came in and said, excuse me, this is my big red stop sign. Yeah. And that's not going to happen. Based on orders that were coming in from the court, that particular bill is screeching to a halt, at least for now, until some of these issues are discussed. So we're going to be talking all around that with Jerry Maina at 7. All right. And then at 8 o'clock, in October 2023, there was an attack on the Nova Festival that was taking place. And people were killed by Hamas insurgents. There was an attack, essentially, which, according to Hamas, was an answer to the different allegations and onslaught that was coming to them from Israel. And they made this attack, and people were taken into hostage. They literally were hostages for 2 years. Some were killed. Some were, just untold things happened to quite a number of people. That conflict, until Donald Trump came in about a month ago and said, come on, guys, let's have a conversation about this thing now for real. You can talk about what you want to talk about, but how about let's just stop it for now? And so Donald Trump, of course, being given his flowers for being able to get the ceasefire in place. That happened. And we saw the release of hostages. One of those hostages is Maya Parisa. She's a survivor of the attack on the Nova Festival that happened on the 7th of October 2023. She's going to be here with the Deputy Ambassador, Embassy of Israel, Ariel Arviv. They'll both join us at 8 o'clock. We'll have a conversation. She'll tell us what it was like to be a hostage for the period of time that she was, and what this actually means from her perspective concerning the regional conflict that we've been seeing for the last 30 years. We'll talk with these two ladies at 8 o'clock. And then finally at 9 o'clock, you can walk around with a bank in your pocket. We'll tell you how with Rose Muturi. She will join us as the managing director, Branch Microfinance Bank East Africa. So Rose joins us at 9, and those are the conversations that we have today. So it's what's in store on the Situation Room this morning. Good to have you here, as we always do, and we'll get into some things today. Sawa, Mr. Aseto.
Yes.
Over to you.
Tuko wapi? Cabo Verde. Cabo Verde, a country whose economy is pushed mostly by remittances. A lot of citizens from that country, remember, their population is around 590,000, but majority of them are outside the country. Most are in Portugal, and they send remittances back home to be able to push the country's economy. But the proverb that we get today, you sow wind, you reap storm. You sow wind, you reap storm. How would you interpret that?
You sow wind,
you reap storm.
You sow wind, you reap storm. Well, I mean, what you put in is what you get out.
Yeah.
I just think about it, when you hear the winds blowing, it goes and it goes and it goes, and eventually the rain will come, and you don't know the gravity of it, but the heavier the winds, they say, the heavier the storm will be, and it's going to be quite something. You don't know how long that water will come. So what you put in is what you get out, and also the amount that you put in, or the depth that you put in, is essentially what you're going to get out of it. Basically, you reap what you sow. Basically, you put in a lot of hard work, you reap the results. You want to be lackadaisical and mediocre, then that's what you're going to get. Mediocre results.
I just look at that in terms of what is happening to the Nyeri governor at the moment. It isn't the first time that he's making these statements. There's a time he made these statements against the Ma community, and he was called out for it. This time around again, he made that statement, and you look at what that has done now and the aftermath of the same. And one would say it has happened before, you repeated it again, but perhaps it's time people said no to it, and that there are repercussions and heads roll because of that. So he had been sowing it, but it's here to catch up.
Yep, it is.
Yeah,
that's the thing, and it's interesting because no matter what you put in, and I think there's a verse that says, "Good, what you put in, good measure, shaken together, rolling over, it will come in that way." So whether it is good or whether it is bad, what you get at the end of the day is what you've actually put in.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. Let's say good morning to you guys, because I know that you're trickling into the room, and we'll be able to then say hi to you as you do. Robinson is tuning from Mombasa this morning. Michael Olande is here, the Situation Room team, and says good morning. Good to have you in the room today. Thank you for always joining us as you do. Josh Willie says, good morning. I'm in the room. Karibu Sana, we can see you. Don Sabwa says, now that it is fashionable appearing with cows in Bondo, Ndu ask Okari, but now I'll ask Aseto, when are we taking ours? So yesterday we saw the Ken Lusaka from Bungoma, of course, performing a Baluya ritual at the gravesite of the late Raila Odinga. Brought some cows, I believe, but he's not the only one to have done so. But he did that yesterday. So the question is,
Inshallah.
Okay, there's your answer, Don. Lawrence Kiptai says, good morning. Bwangi Juma's tuning in this morning and says, good morning, Spice family. How are you all this blessed Thursday? Tuko Salama. Tuning from Preston in the UK is where Hemtula Omar is this morning. Ivan Omondi Odera says, hey, DND, Spice FM's finest. Asante. Tuned in from the Kenya Society for the Blind HQ. Coffee in hand, vibes on blast, and pretending to work while you keep Thursday lit.
Yo.
I love it.
These are Kale would make a good couple.
Yeah. Ivan Omondi, you need to call Izakale and see how you guys can come up with some literary genius. Leo says, good morning, Princess Ndu and Aseto. Whoever wants you will even kick your kid to get you. ODM UDA faction will kick and scream at anything and everything just to get a reaction from Gashagwa. Okay. SA is saying, Don Saba, it's a fashionable. It's not a fashionable trend. It's culture. Tawa. All right. Rahim Tula says, my condolences. Who passed? Also, Dennis had a family funeral, so that's what he's dealing with. Rose Gray says, good morning, Ndu and Aseto. Good morning to you, Rose. Hope you're doing well. So Leo says, if the Luo, the Kikuyu and the Luo were real enemies, the Jaramogi Kenyatta movement would not have happened. Our problem is these 2 cent politicians that diarrhea and bark at the behest of their master. Okay. So there's no issue really, or trying to blow it out of proportion, or are there deep-seated issues?
Yeah.
Some of the things that we'll be talking about today. Isaac Ale says, what's going on? I think life would be so much easier if rice had protein in it. I agree 100%.
I agree.
Let it just come along with the thing. Yeah. Oh, God. Isa. All right. Peter Chiari is tuning from Mombasa this morning. George Okov says, good morning, everybody. I'm really disappointed with the kind of speeches that bring division and hate. They should stop. Really disappointed watching from Miami, Florida. We see it's really sad. Duke Effects, I will not be able to use the words that you've put there, but I can understand what you're saying, and that people should be disassociated from. Eric Owar says, good morning. Leo, yeah, we see you. Louis Rudasingo says, good morning, everybody. Well, good morning to you. Yes, indeed, you will reap what you sow. Harriet Osimbo, it's sickening to watch political leaders in Kenya pursuing self-interest. I don't know that this has been different in the past, but we're just seeing a resurgence of what has been an attitude for the longest time. Tibbs Muge is tuned in this morning, says, good morning, land grabbers silencing victims again. These bills stink to high heaven. They do. There's something rotten in the land of Denmark. It doesn't look good at all. Sao Paulo is where Afropedia is tuned in from, and Eye on Africa watching from Sao Paulo in Brazil. Newton Emase is tuned in from Nyakach. Which county is Nyakach in?
Nyakach. It's not in Sia?
I don't know.
We shall find out.
We shall find out. Sindio? Okay. Or you can tell us, Newton. Tuflani, good morning, everybody. He says, let us strive for a better Kenya as always. Indeed, let's do it by our speech, by our words, by our actions. Langat Musemo Kweli says, good morning, our reincarcerated, Ryla-spirited fighters.
Nyakach is in Kisumu, I think.
Nyakach is in Kisumu County.
Yeah.
All right. Sarah Kilonzo says, good morning. Penning politicians are just another thing. What was that presser for? Anyway, good morning, Kenya. What was it for?
What was it for? What did you want to achieve with it? I mean, you can't come to condemn negative tribalism that happened and still spew negative tribalism on a podium. I mean, what are you doing? Sit down.
Wow.
Yeah, sit down. Go back to your county and work for the people. I mean, we have agencies. You might as well just walk to NCIC and report and let them
say that this thing
matter.
happened and let them handle. Because unfortunately, no matter which way you slice it, that the answer that has been given, what it has done is that it has created more friction.
Yeah.
Now, when we say that there's a part of the country where you will not be able to go to because of what you said, then you wonder, okay, right, look, condemned to the highest terms possible what was said and the manner in which it was said, but then the answer that was given, many are saying, okay, so what does this mean exactly? So there's certain parts of the country that are closed off to other folk. I
wonder, and then like, who are you? You know, we just have to ask that question, like, who the hell do you think you are? Fact that you are a politician elected by 100,000 people never ever gives you an opportunity to stop anyone from traveling. Anyone, heck, the president cannot even do that. When in Nani, must just sit down and rethink of your life, find out who hurt you, and then apologize. You know, we just have to call it for what it is.
And unfortunately, we're going to go into a situation where things are going to get all the more stickier just because of this. It unfortunately doesn't look pretty at all. Blessed day, Kenyans. Just hearing from Daughters of Africa saying good morning. And unfortunately, this is just, some of the situations that we wish we didn't have to deal with, but unfortunately we are. Good morning, says Christina A. Good morning. Dr. Venvik is tuning from Tudo in Mombasa. Georgia Koth says Nyakach is in Kisumu County. Surprised Mr. Techo didn't figure it out. He figured it out eventually.
Tell you what. I've never really spent time in Kisumu County.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I think, George, let's do that thing. Let's come visit Kisumu.
Sindio, we eat Uhanya Beach.
Dunga Beach.
Dunga Beach, those things. Okay, George, so you make it happen.
Let's do that.
We'll make it happen and let's country better.
Let's take it on the road. Let's take a situation room on the road.
And see these places?
Yeah.
Daughters of Africa here. Wenzel Dashington says, Nikondani, good morning to you. Duke FX agrees with you. Says, yes, definitely. Some of the things that we're looking at, unfortunately, cannot be the case. All right, folks, keep trickling in. Did I miss anybody? I hope not. It was not intentional. Thank you all for joining us in the morning as you do. Oh, Santa Masanga says, good morning, Spice team. And Lamek Otone says, ruthless focus on the economy, no distractions on narratives cooked in smoke-filled rooms. So there's a lot to focus on. There's a lot of work to be done, and these distractions seem to then be able to stop that work that ought to be done. It's quite unfortunate that we have to be doing that at this time. But like I said, unfortunately, it is fodder for politics, and it probably didn't die yesterday. We saw that the governor did step aside step down from his position as the DG of the Council of Governors. And then we see also Fatma Chani of Kwale County now has been not nominated, but has been placed in that role. But it's not enough.
It's not enough.
Because people still want something to feed on. You know, it's it's good fodder for this kind of political war.
Yeah, we've seen politicians saying that the man should actually just resign all the way as a governor. So he's actually coming from his own backyard.
I mean, Otienda Amolo said it here yesterday. He said he should actually resign. He shouldn't be a governor anymore, because if that's the kind of divisive politics that you want to spark, then we have a problem.
But you see, the other governor as well should just do the honorable thing as well.
And sit down.
Just sit down. You let another person be the governor as well. You know, we can't propagate tribalism on a national platform. I mean, guys, we've been fighting this for 60-something plus years, and then you're speaking, defending the person who's arrested, who fought these things his entire life. Like, even if it's honoring just his legacy, you are misrepresenting the facts.
Unfortunately. All right, so what we're going to do now is that we're going to look into the headlines and see the essentially news that is making the headlines. There's a picture of Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, and he looks to be in pensive thought. It's a different picture that was taken, but perhaps this is the place that he needs to be right now, because the headline on Kenya's bold newspaper, The Standard, is missing dead silence. Almost a month after Kenyan activists Bob Jagi and Nicholas Oyo vanished in Uganda, their families are trapped in agony and unanswered questions. Kampala disowns knowledge of their fate, while Nairobi's deafening silence and shadowy diplomacy deepen suspicions of a cross-border cover-up and stoke public fury over official indifference. Uganda military, we heard them say yesterday, we have carried out investigations and searched all relevant detention facilities, including custody records and lockup registers, and found no entry relating to the said Nicholas Olo and Bob Jagi between the 1st of October 2025 to date. That's what the Uganda military says. I'm already tired. Nerbert Ochieng, who is Nicholas Oyo's brother, it is difficult for us now that the military and police have denied having the two in custody. This makes us wonder, where are they? Are they alive or taken elsewhere? Christine Jaggi is Bob's wife. It has not been easy. I spend sleepless nights wondering what happened to him. Every time my phone rings, I expect good news, but nothing. Nairobi is deathly silent about this. These are two Kenyans. It doesn't matter what it is that they were doing or where they went. At the very least, make an inquiry and make the details of that inquiry, not every little thing that you asked, but the fact that you inquired, make that public. But we've heard nothing but silence. You can cut it with a knife, and the silence is way too loud on a matter like this. They're somewhere, somebody has them, and somebody knows. We got to get to it, guys. Ex-envoy's bitter divorce, 38-year battle, and disinherited children. Who are we talking about? Peter Eshare Aboro, who died in 2014 as a succession battle raged. That makes the national news on page 2. How new law emboldens land fraudsters. If you thought that one of the scariest places on earth was to operate within the NLC, my friend, this new law, in what it does, has now given these land fraudsters powerful. Uji, this is called what? Uji power. Now, this law is the Uji power for the land fraudsters, because they've said, oh, you thought we were there before? Sasa.
Yeah.
We are coming. Proper.
You know, Uji power is famous because of ginseng.
it's the ginseng.
Ginseng.
So now
So
this law is the ginseng.
Ginseng in Ojibwa.
For Ojibwa. My lord. Anxious wait as families of two abducted activists fear the worst. Sadly, you can imagine the horror that somebody that you lived in the same space with is not there for 30 days. And every day, the horrific possibility that somebody could tell you something is wrong, that's enough to drive any man mad. And that nothing is being done about it makes you the Mad Hatter. Cabinet shakeup looms as Ruto moves to tighten grip on ODM. I asked Otienda Molo yesterday, and I said, the president seems to be asking ODM to stay intact. Can he do that? What did he say? He has no business telling us as ODM what to do. Well, it seems that somebody wants to have the folks at ODM held by the short and curlies. So let's wait and see what happens with this cabinet shake-up. Senate seeks formula to censure gender gap is bridged. They've been dealing with this thing forever. Every time they wanted to debate it, there's no quorum. There's no quorum. 3 times there was no quorum. What did Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga do? Declared the thing unconstitutional, said all of you should go home based on this gender thing. If you wanted to do it, you would have done it.
Yes.
Come on, stop wasting our time.
Duka enda nyumbani.
Enda nyumbani.
And I think that should be the case until when we finally implement that question, because it can't be having a constitution with its demands, but we operate as if we do not have the constitution.
Very simple.
Simple.
You don't have it, create the space for it. The constitution says no more than 2/3, then ensure that at least 1/3 is of the opposite gender. Period. Nobody's talking about women are greater, lesser than, fairer. 2/3. Fix it. Then let's do something else.
You see, the fallacy or the misconception is that this bill or this act of parliament has been construed to favor women. Remember, it talks about gender. If it was the opposite, it is the men who would be fighting for that position.
Exactly.
So what needs to happen is the constitution has spoken on what must be done. What we have to do is to implement that constitution.
They've given you the formula. You know, it's like when you're doing a math exam, the formula is there. All you have to do now is input the correct numbers and get the answer. Sasa, you don't even have to figure out which formula to use for this question. They've already told you what to do. All you need to do is ensure 1, 2, 3. And then political parties, make sure that when you're giving nomination certificates for people to do things, ensure that that 2/3 threshold has been met. So that now when people are getting in, because guess what? It's political parties that influence MCA, Member of Parliament, Senator, Women Rep, Governor. So when you're ensuring that these people get to the front there where they're pitting against each other, just ensure that, your things are full. And then we stop dealing with this story. And you give us long stories year in, year out about how, the gender gap. Stop it. Just do your job.
Just do your job. Just remember, this constitution was passed by the people of Kenya. Whether it's easy or not to implement that thing, the people of Kenya said they wanted it. Your role is to make sure that we achieve that.
Natusumbua hapa.
This is a story.
Natusumbua.
The story wanasemanga za jaba. Na tutaki.
Please, over to you, sir.
So let's go to the Daily Nation, So, there's a canon, but this time, it is loose.
Okay. Well done. Good job. If I were closer to you, I would shake your hand, but please.
Please shake it. Costly gaffe. Now, Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga has ignited national outrage with utterances viewed as celebrating the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, with the ensuing public backlash forcing him to quit his post in the Governor's Council. But demands for tougher sanctions intensified even as the incident triggered a political showdown. Political angoa showdown. Let's see how that will proceed in the coming days, because this showdown will go cross-border. Cross-border counties, not just in Nyeri. Hatuwezi kubali maneno iendelee. Revealed how senior school admissions will be done. The Education Ministry has introduced a digital school allocation system to ensure fairness in the first ever placement of grade 9 learners to senior schools. Slots in Cluster 1 schools, the current national schools, will be shared nationwide, with at least one learner from each of the 47 counties securing admission to the top schools based on their performance. I thought we had removed this thing of ranking schools.
Okay.
The more things change, the more they remain the same.
See, We are going to the word they use is a very sexy word, declassify. Decategorize. That's the one. We're going to decategorize schools, because by the time now that pupils have selected pathways, that means essentially you're decategorizing schools. So the category that we used to put you is now is not national, sub-county, provincial, all of those things, ex-county, extra county on top of the county. No. Now it is on the pathway. When that will happen, if it is before Jesus comes, ndio hatujui sasa.
But you know what they've replaced national schools with? Cluster 1 schools.
Ndio hizo sasa. That's the word I was looking for.
Let's go to agriculture. PS, KTDA bosses clash over bonuses. Agriculture Principal Secretary Paul Rono says directors mismanaging the Kenya Tea Development Agency will be shown the door because the government wants farmers' pay improved. It is a conversation every other time, especially when it comes to bonuses being paid to tea farmers in the country. One asks the question, why not just address it once and for all?
Why
always push it?
You want to address it once and for all when they can do it twice and never?
And you see, that's why you never move. You see, when soldiers are mark timing, you know what mark timing means? You're just stepping on the same spot.
Yes.
But once you start marching forward, then you're moving. There's a difference.
Okay. I didn't know.
Then there's another issue on what is education. Varsity crisis deepens as lecturers reject 3 billion shillings salary offer. The strike by lecturers that has entered the 6th week will persist after negotiations between the dons and university managers collapsed. Why? We shall look deeper into that. And mourners continue flocking to Bondo. Yesterday, since the former ODM leader's burial on Sunday, there has been a steady stream of visitors at Kango Kajaramogi. Yesterday, Kikuyu elders condoled with the Odinga family at Kango Kajaramogi. You know, so when we are some are trying to bridge that tribalism card, the elders from these communities are actually meeting and saying, we are here to bring our condolences. You know,
looks like it's going to be there for a while.
It's going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
You know, but then again, let's keep doing it. I mean, he's a man who served the country and served the country well.
Indeed.
And Kindiki warns against reckless speech, and he says, let Raila rest in peace. He made peace with everyone before his death, and it is wrong to celebrate anyone's passing. Yeah. And concert and statue in honor of Raila. Committee say eyes Uhuru Park Festival landmark projects in memory of the former premier. Sema sherehe inakuja Nairobi in honor of mzee.
Okay.
You know,
it's like 24 hours or was it all night something?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
24-hour concert.
It's going to be there for mzee, and I know that one will be packed. Yeah, that one will be packed. And legal challenges, court holds sections of Cyber Crimes Act. Just what are some of the questions that politician come musician Kigame says the law has failed to specify, and what constitutes false, misleading, or fictitious data? It is the question that asked the court, and the court said, hold up, government, implementation of this thing. Tulia kwanza, lazima tuangalie where the problem is at.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Angalia Star.
Let me look into the Star. On the front page, of course, it's looking into county chief stripped of council of governor's position. Was he stripped or did he step down? Okay, semantics, guys. Kahiga's loose tongue on Raila sparks outrage. I wonder, do you know that these people, they say worse every day.
Every day.
They spew a lot of putrid nonsense a lot of the time. And it's just that this one grabbed attention because we've just buried Baba, all right? And then now you open your mouth and start talking like this, and everybody's attention is still there. And unfortunately for you, everybody heard what you said. Whether you said it in Kikuyu or you said it in Mandarin, everybody heard what you said. And we've not even, Baba's not even called. And here we are, you're saying these things. But you know what? They say this kind of nonsense every time they're in front of a microphone.
Yeah.
People say it all the time. It's not excusable. It is not justifiable. But this is what just took so much more attention because he said it in the way he did about Baba, and he said some horrible things. Yeah. We're not going to let him down from that. He said some horrible things, and stepping down is not going to take away the sting of what he said. But that it will plunge people back into a pool where we thought that people had already been taken out of and were drying off. My goodness. what the leader said about his loose tongue. Abdul Somad Nasir said, at a time of collective grief, leaders must rise to the occasion, not drag the nation backwards. We urge all responsible voices across the political divide to reject the language of hatred and embrace the path of dignity, healing, and nationhood. Gladys Wanga, ODM National Chairperson, it is disturbing that a beneficiary of Raila's struggle would choose to dishonor him this way. The late Raila believed in a Kenya for all, a united, equal nation beyond tribe or region. Oscar Sudi, Kapseret Member of Parliament. Governor Mutai Kahiga, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Why are you pushing one community against the wall when the country is yet to come to terms with the death of Baba Raila? Irresponsible and reckless statements from a leader. And Waiguru, the Kirinyaga governor. The remarks made by Nyeri Governor Kahiga are not just unfortunate, they are callous and irresponsible. They do not reflect the views of the leadership or the people of Mount Kenya. As a people, we stand with the rest of Kenya in mourning a great statesman, Raila Odinga. Everybody came out yesterday and said there was a presser that was called Council of Governors sat their meeting. I don't know if it lasted more than 30 minutes, and they were done with the business of the day. And by the end of his statement, he's no longer the vice. He's been replaced by Fatma Chani, and we keep it moving. But what he said is going to sting for a while. This weekend, see, it's starting tomorrow. People are going to be back on the top of vehicles. Wataongea. Ngoja uone. Puzzle deepens as Uganda military denies holding Jagi and Oyo. Where are these men? The last we know is that they went to Uganda.
The last information we got is that they were taken by officers from Uganda.
Yes.
So question is, if military don't have them,
police
how
don't
about
have
police?
Them. Police said they don't have them.
Police don't have.
Yes. The first person to have made a statement last week was the police boss and said that, who? I don't know. Everybody.
The same guys who usually have abducted one Kizza Besigye and always say they don't know, despite the fact that he was taken in the glare of daylight and still don't have Kizza Besigye. Okay, it's those guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It is not possible that Nairobi is quiet about two Kenyans who last went to a neighboring country. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, MFA, is quiet about this. It cannot be. I don't care if they're activists. I don't care if they are bird watchers. I don't care if they're in the highest tops of government. They're missing. Somebody needs to be asking a question. If you're not, one must ask, what is your foreign policy and what is Moffat doing?
Yeah. I mean, there's a question that we need to ask, because remember what happened with Boniface Pang in Tanzania? Again, MFA was quiet on that. I mean, question is, why are you in that office if you're not protecting the very own people you're supposed to protect in such spaces?
Oh, they want us to make noise.
They want, eh?
Yes, they want us to make noise. Okay, fine. Bridge health research gaps to impact lives, urge experts. Of course, this we're looking at where, you know what, there could be so much that we would then be able to do if the research gave us insights into certain things, disease patterns, demographics when it comes to where these diseases and who then would be affected by them. If you put money in the research, what you're likely to do is you're going to be able to scale up on prevention, preventative health care. Bridge, and that's what we're talking about. Family of woman killed by officer decries slow probe. The family of Lucy Okech, who was shot by police in Homa Bay, is demanding justice for her, and they're saying it's taking a little bit too long for you guys to figure out who killed our loved one. Looking at other stories making it into the Star today. Batuk breaks silence on Kenya atrocities amid mounting pressure from Parliament. Of course, there Nelson Koech, who is the chair of the National Assembly Committee on Defence, Intelligence and Foreign Relations, speaking there. How DP-led team averted chaos at Raila's funeral. Okay, well, kudos to you. And state to open over 1.5 million acres for private investment. Iko kitu kama hiyo. All right, it's good. Let's look into some details, some stories in detail, shall we? And I want to insist on this Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo story. Let's give some details into that, shall we? Bob Njagi was abducted barely days after celebrating his child's first birthday. A moment of pure joy that his wife says he's been replaced by tears and heartache. So she now clings to photographs and fading memories, uncertain if she will ever see him again. That's the reality. And in the face of this suffering, as both Njagi and Oyo's families grow up in the dark, Kenya's Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Ministry has met their pleas with nothing but deafening silence and with no visible effort to secure the release or even demand answers from Entebbe. Government officials only spoke publicly once at the height of public pressure, but have gone silent. Efforts by the Standard to reach Prime Cabinet Secretary and CS for Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, for answers hit a snag, as his communication team did not pick our calls. The mandate to make a diplomatic intervention for the release of the duo lies squarely in his office, and he has seemingly chose to look away. Okay. It is squarely in his office. It is him. It is under his docket. In Kenya, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs bears the constitutional and diplomatic responsibility of protecting the rights and welfare of Kenyans abroad. This includes providing consular assistance to citizens in distress, such as those arrested, detained, or abducted in foreign countries. So it's not as though, don't ask me, it's not my docket, right? It is right in your docket, sir. In the case of activists Bob Njagi and Nikoyo, this duty squarely rests on the shoulders of Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Musalia Mudavadi. Any failure or silence from his office represents a constitutional abdication of duty to protect Kenyan lives beyond its borders. The anxiety deepened yesterday after Ugandan authorities failed to present the duo in court as earlier directed by the High Court of Uganda, which had issued an order compelling the state to produce them dead or alive. Now get this quandary. High Court in Uganda says, okay, we have heard the noise back and forth. Present these people in court, dead or alive, bring them here. That didn't happen. So the military then came out later and said, well, we don't know who these guys. We've gone through lock registers, all holding. We can't find them anywhere. So what would incline the High Court of Uganda to ask that these gentlemen be brought before court if there is no knowledge of their existence in Uganda? Sijui kama unanielewa.
Nakuelewa.
Because judges and judicial officers don't just speak when they are bored. There is something that they act on. So what is it that made them say present them here? You can't present somebody that is not in the jurisdiction.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And then again, you remember, Ndu, here's the thing. Every foreign citizen who's in the Republic of Kenya today, it is the responsibility of government of Kenya to assure their security and their well-being in the country. You know, it is the same story and scenario when you go to Uganda. It is the government of Uganda to ensure that any foreign citizen that is in the country is able to do their business in a peaceful manner, is able to walk around easily and even provide their security. So in an instant where a foreign citizen came to your country and disappeared, it is the responsibility for security operators in the country to answer the question, where is this man? Have you conducted your investigations? Because that is the only organ that has the powers to do so. So when judicial officers are acting, they're acting first of all based off evidence presented in court. And if that evidence convinces the judge that there is a case to answer, that there is a matter that needs to be handled, they will give their orders. So just coming and saying, hatujui, iko kitu fishi.
Come on.
Iko kitu
In
fishi.
this day and age, that cannot be the kind of answer
Can't
that
be.
you're giving, that we
No.
don't know. Oh, we have not heard. We've checked even under the bed and we cannot find them. Stop it. You know, we can't be doing this kind of thing in this day and age. Look at somebody's wife. Look at their family members who are in utter trauma and distress day after day, night after night. They do not know where their kith and kin or their beloved are. And these are people who fight for justice. Bob Njagi is not the first time.
Yeah.
Bob Njagi was abducted in Nairobi, in this Kenya. You know, by who we still don't know until tomorrow. Then he's still continuing the work that he's doing and goes to and then you're telling us that you don't know where. No, we need to actually be serious.
Yeah.
Stop it. Bring him
Just
home.
stop it. Just stop it.
The High Court in Uganda has requested that you present him to court dead or alive, so they know something. Then the military is telling us that they don't know. The police are saying we have not seen them. So who will know?
So
what, you are not doing your job in your country.
Let's ask the question. Have they given the court in terms of the investigation on these people's last known location, in terms of tracking their GPS, their phone location, and all these things? Because if you present that in court, itakufunga mikono, because these people were within the jurisdiction that is Uganda. So provide them in court. They did not disappear in Kenya. But remember, we're talking about a military that managed to come to Kenya and abduct Kizza Besigye in the day of light. The same people who are telling you they cannot find someone who's in their country.
That's what I'm telling you. We need to stop this. Just all these games we are playing. Just stop it.
Let's stop these games.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Bring somebody's son back home, I beg.
So let's still go to the court, but in Kenya.
All right.
And the court has halted sections of Cybercrimes Act. Why? The High Court has suspended the implementation of 2 sections of the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Amendment Act of 2025, which 2 petitioners argue are vague and therefore prone to abuse. The court suspended the operation of Section 27(1)(b)(c) and 2 of the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Amendment Act of 2025, pending the hearing and determination of a case filed by gospel singer Ruben Kigame and the Kenya Human Rights Commission. Mr. Kigame cited the amendment to Section 27, which criminalizes the publication of false, misleading, or fictitious data, saying it is unconstitutionally vague. Pending the hearing and determination of this application, conservatory order is hereby issued, suspending the enforcement and the implementation and operation of the said sections, the court said. The court directed parties to file the responses and submissions within 7 days. The case will be mentioned on November 5th for directions. Now, the singer and teacher said the section fails to provide clear, objective criteria for what constitutes such data, leaving it open for arbitrary and abusive enforcement that will severely hurt freedom of expression. Ndu, let me ask you the question.
Ask me.
All the things, what is false? What is misleading? Or what is fictitious data when you post something? Remember, even the Constitution itself, when you're given for you to interpret it, people will interpret it different.
Exactly.
And with that does not mean your interpretation
It's wrong.
It's based on your understanding of the law.
What are those things that fly from the sky that people say they are from Mars? What are those things called?
Oh, UFOs.
UFOs. Now, if I, Ndu, have said that I have seen this unidentified flying object in the sky, how are you to say that I am making it up, that it is fictitious? How will you know that what I've said is a lie? I could have actually seen it's an object in the sky, it is flying, and it is unidentified. I have seen it. I could be suffering from schizophrenia, but that notwithstanding, I have seen it. How will you then prove that what I've said is a lie?
Did I have
So
your
you can
eyes?
arrest me. Thanks. So you can arrest me. You can charge me 5 million shillings, or you can send me to jail because I've then put on my social media, guys, nimeona UFO leo asubuhi. How do you know that what I've said is a lie?
Yeah.
What if somebody who is a politician actually insulted me and then I took to the, and then how do you know? Were you there?
Yeah, were you there?
What if it was just 2 of us? So that's why there's so many gaps that it leaves open.
Yeah.
How do you know? Then can you punish me for something that you do not know conclusively?
Yeah. And then you also look at those who would be implementing this law in terms of fine. You've gone and reported to the police. How would the police determine that what you've posted is all these things they've stated here? Are we looking at a situation where people will take advantage of that law and just put you in jail, destroy your life because there is a law that finally makes it easier for people to just drag you to court?
What happens with this is that you open the door for then misuse of the law.
Yes.
That anybody can then now come and say, well, you did 1, 2, 3, and the law allows us to then be able to take you in. What has happened here is that you've not tightened the screws. So anybody can come in and do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And you want a situation whereby the law, even though it is a crossbreed of a donkey and a horse, sometimes you cannot... you have to tighten the screws. You cannot leave loopholes to then allow anybody to then come in and use it as an avenue for abuse. Unfortunately, that's what this does. Tighten the screws, make it better, and then maybe it'll make more sense to people.
And it also brings the question in terms of, we've had these laws before, but why now, after you read it together with the demonstration that majorly was organized on social media? Is it a way of making sure that Kenyans do not speak on these spaces?
Yes.
Because you've seen what power of community, what power of these digital opportunities that Kenyans have can do to a country in terms of just starting with a single tweet.
Unfortunately, that's what it looks like. That you introduce something like this to then be able to gag the voice of a public collective space. And unfortunately, even if there is a counter narrative to that, which unfortunately has not been explained, that is what people perceive it to be. You don't want us to be able to speak on these spaces where we're otherwise free, and you're then curtailing the freedom of expression. That's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like.
Yep.
But MPs who passed this bill, are now saying, hey, we are split.
Of
on
course they're split.
the bill that Ruto sent it to. And MPs are divided on the 8 bills that President William Ruto signed into law last week. While some defended the president, others opposed him, calling his actions gross violation of the constitution. MPs aligned with the government: Bernard Kittur of Nandi Hills, Mark Nyamita of Uriri, that's my MP, and Joseph Lelmengit of Mgwen defended President Ruto against what they termed deliberate disinformation and misinformation regarding the bills he approved. Now, they argued that the action was necessary to comply with Article 115 of the Constitution, which requires bills to be passed within 14 days. Now, speaking to press yesterday at Parliament, Kittur said that even if the president had failed to sign the bills, they would have automatically become law according to the Constitution. There are other MPs as well who said, let's go to Thangwa, who dismissed the new laws, arguing that Dr. Ruto violated Article 110 of the Constitution by approving the 8 bills, 7 of which did not pass through the Senate.
Interesting. Of course, let's see, because as a result of what this High Court has put the slam the brakes on in terms of this bill, and this is why government cannot operate in secrecy. You must say, this is what it says, so that from the get-go, people know what it is that is being dealt, because then you have things like this. People are going to petition the court, and then you get it stopped. Maybe there could have been something good in there that you could use, but then you want to be secret about it, so people say, oh, you want to be secret about it, stop it altogether. And that's what we're going to have to deal with.
And that is what public participation does. It gives you an opportunity to have all these bills passed in an easy way. But then again, you're complaining, yet you ought to have been in that house to make sure that such do not pass. Shut up. Sit down.
It's 7 o'clock and Dennis wants you to sit down. Good morning.
Spice up your life. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Attention.